This is a big time in American history. We are watching a biblical story unfold. Many of you read the Bible. Many of you think it's utter nonsense. But I'm going to tell you right now that certain biblical prophecies have already occurred, especially in the Middle East. The Bible said that the Jews will return to the Holy Land. It was predicted by the Bible that the Jews will return to their homeland. That happened in 1947. So you say, well, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, that's one thing. But what does the Bible say about Damascus? Well, I recommend that all of you get out your father's or your grandfather's Old Testament, and I suggest you go to Isaiah 17. As you know, I read from my Old Testament regularly on the show. Not so recently, I admit. I've become a lapsed talk show host. But in chapter 17 of Isaiah, it says right up front, chapter 17, verse 1, the burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a ruinous heap. The cities of Aurora are forsaken, there shall be for flocks, which shall lie down, and none shall make them afraid. The fortress also shall cease, and he goes down the list, saith the Lord of hosts. And it shall come to pass in that day, etc. So that is what's said in Isaiah 17 in the burden of Damascus. Damascus is taken away from being a city. And then if you read Isaiah 19, you read the burden of Egypt. And what happened in Egypt was predicted in the Bible. It says, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and cometh unto Egypt. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt within it. And I will spur Egypt against Egypt. Did that not just happen? Did you not just witness Egypt against Egypt? And then Isaiah says, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. I've got chills up my spine because I've only just begun. I've got one more Bible quote about Damascus that I found for you in this Holy Week in the Jewish Bible. And I will tell you that it's easy to be a non-believer. That's the easy road. It's much harder to be a believer in anything in the world, especially a book written 5,000 years ago by a group of shepherds and olive growers. Diane on KSFO, you're on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Michael. Oh, I love everything you say, but when you say you think Israel is behind the bombing, I totally disagree with you. Israel would no more rely on Obama. They know that he is posturing, and you don't think they've taken the measure of him. They know he can't back up anything he does, let alone the teeny bombing that Kerry talked about. They would never rely on him for anything. So.
Well, that's because you actually believe the cover story, that they're actually not friends.
Whoa.
How do you know that it hasn't been a charade, the charade between Netanyahu and Obama? How do you know that? Or how do you know Obama hasn't played with Israel and Netanyahu in the following manner? Put them down to gain favor with the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay? And then secretly go behind the Muslim Brotherhood's back and placate Israel by sending over some bunker buster bombs. Then go back and forth in the old imperial way that the British were famous for, divide and conquer, play both sides against the middle. How do you know that's not true?
Because Netanyahu, Israel, they're just smarter than that. That's why.
But you're assuming too much about Israel. I mean, people have this idea that Israel's this unassailable group of geniuses, smarter than everyone on the earth. I don't think that's true anymore.
It is in this case when it's there, when suddenly, he drops these little bombs and we're going to go after Israel. That gives the Muslims, whoa.
All right, let me give you some of the evidence for my supposition. I again go back to, was a think tank group last week meeting in Washington, D.C., and they were all very pro-Israel, and they were all calling for bombing no matter what happened. And they were all former undersecretaries of state and, policy wonk types. They didn't care what Assad did. They wanted the bombs to fall. And I looked at them and I said, this can't be.